I think it could be a similar story as what you saw with transit, right? This was a very controversial 10, 15 years ago to do light rail. Now I think a lot of the same people who were skeptical before would have trouble imagining it any other way.
That was U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg explaining to me why the success of the Valley's light rail line could serve as a model for a proposed Amtrak expansion from Phoenix to Tucson. Buttigieg was in the Valley this past week to promote President Biden's $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan. But the proposed infrastructure getting the most chatter is that Amtrak connection between Arizona's largest cities. Would you hop on board? Tim Steller is a longtime columnist for Tucson's Arizona Daily Star, and he says Arizonans should get the chance to test ride the Amtrak connection. Tim, welcome to Square Off. So happy to have you here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You wrote a column this past week declaring we should seize this opportunity. The Tucson-Phoenix passenger rail link has a lot of skeptics. Why do you think it might work?
Well, basically, there's a lot of people who drive this road day to day. Maybe not every day, but go for events, go for work. And it's dangerous and it's crowded. And a lot of people just want to get off the road. They don't want to be behind the wheel themselves with a dust storm potentially looming or crazy drivers coming next to them, veering into their lanes.
So help me understand this. We have 11 mayors down the I-10 saying we want this. Count me as a skeptic. I drive down there to see my brother-in-law, and I know I love public transit. I would take the train if I could, but once I get off the train, what do? I need a car in your town.
Well, if you're going to your brother's house, for example, I mean, either he can pick you up or you can catch a lift. I mean, I think that's a pretty simple solution that's developed over the last decade. We have Lyft, Uber, obviously there's public transportation like buses. And then, if you're going short distances, maybe do an event. In Tucson, if you're going to the U of A, you could go take the streetcar to the U of A, or you can even ride a scooter or a bike, a rental bike. So, I mean, if you're going to be driving all over town, it might not be the best alternative. But if you're going to go for an event or to see family, something like that, I think it could work.
Are there any hard numbers on this? How many people might use it? I think right now they're talking about 3 times a day from Phoenix to Tucson.
Yeah, that I know of, no. I mean, the only hard number I know of is that right now in the infrastructure bill, there's $66 billion dedicated to rails. That's not just Amtrak, but also freight. And if that is passed, we would still have to be chosen as one of the services to expand into, or that is one of the areas to expand into. It's not guaranteed.
And this idea has been out there for years. Most recently, I think there was talk of a high-speed bullet train between Phoenix and Tucson. Whatever happened to that?
I mean, it just, there was a very well done environmental impact statement, selection of routes and that sort of thing. The Arizona Department of Transportation ran this study. It came out in 2015, and the best route they chose was going to cost around $5 billion, they thought. Well, it would mean constructing a lot of new rail. Obviously, that's a big amount of money, and I don't know where that's going to come from, and nobody knows where that's going to come from. So as a result, the idea just died that way.
And there is already, Phoenix does not have any Amtrak service. I think we're the largest city in the country without it. Tucson does. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. The main rail line runs sort of along the Gila, south of Phoenix. So it doesn't go up there, the main line.
And so I understand there are issues involving the freight trains that also use that line that can cause delays for Amtrak into Tucson.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a huge issue. Basically, Union Pacific owns that line, and they obviously have a lot of freight trains going back and forth across the country. As a result, east of here, oftentimes the Amtrak train coming into Tucson gets delayed. Now, the way the law reads, passenger trains are supposed to get priority over freight trains, but in practice, that doesn't happen. This all goes back, if you want me to give you a little history, I can tell you that it all goes back to 1970 and the formation of Amtrak.
Wow. And so I see when I'm driving up and down the 10, I see freight trains going down the tracks as well. So it's an issue on a Phoenix to Tucson connection, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's a major issue. I mean, the obligation, and many people don't understand, is that prior to the formation of Amtrak in 1970 or 71, the train owners were required to provide passenger service. And then when Amtrak was formed, they were allowed not to do that. But Amtrak was supposed to get priority on their rails, and that just hasn't played out.
So it sounds like this is something, if it did get into well, it's in the infrastructure bill, and if the infrastructure bill is passed, and there's going to be a big vote in the Senate coming up this week, it would still take many years to become a reality.
I don't know about many. I would say it would take years, but the tracks are there. They just have to sort out scheduling, get the equipment in. Obviously the trains themselves, and then the big issue would be, of course, funding. Again, now it wouldn't cost as much as a high-speed train, but Amtrak isn't going to fund it forever, so the state would have to take some portion over time.
And that could be another big lift, especially given changes in our revenue stream that the governor got through this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Tim, maybe we'll enjoy a first ride together someday.
Yeah, that'd
soon.
be great.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good seeing you, Brian.
Take care. You can see all of our Sunday Square Off coverage on our YouTube channel. Go to 12news.com/YouTube.